right, we can get going. So thank you for your patience, everyone. So just want to kick things off. As you know, many of you know, I'm Jorge Hernandez, the Public Information Officer with Albuquerque Community Safety. So first off, I want to just explain what this building is. This is the Trauma Recovery Center. So this houses our violence intervention program team. So it's 6 different teams that help with either individuals trying to overcome addiction. We have our opioid education team. We also have our school-based violence intervention team that's based out of here that supports youth at some of the high schools and even middle schools across the city. But we're here to focus on 2 very, very exciting announcements and partnerships that we have with YDI. So, today, we announced those 2 important initiatives that will expand support, healing, and opportunity for Albuquerque youth and families. So what we're about to announce today reflects what can happen when community partners come together. So we're so thankful for the partnership that we have with not just here internally with our OEI department, but also this man here with Robert Chavez with the YDI. So it's you were telling me something pretty incredible earlier, and maybe you can share a little bit of it, is that you were part of YDI as a youth when you were 16? 14. So unbelievable. So a lot of credibility and experience with how these youth and families operate across the city that comes out of Robert as the CEO of YDI. So just wanted to just kind of set the scene. I know you guys kind of saw the media advisory earlier, but there are 2 major things that we're announcing today. So with YDI, we've announced a $600,000 RFP for cognitive behavioral therapy services that'll be operated out of the Trauma Recovery Center. And then the second announcement and partnership that we have with YDI is part of what is the second cohort of the Guaranteed Basic Income Initiative. A couple of weeks ago, we heard Mayor share some of the successes that we've had with families as part of the first cohort. Some of those individuals even being able to buy vehicles or a home in one case. So for this cohort, we're actually working with the youth, and these are individuals between the ages of 16 and 24, so they benefit from that guaranteed basic income. And for the group that ACS is working with specifically, it is 20 at-risk youth between those ages of 16 and 24. So the program will provide vulnerable youth and young adults direct financial support paired with wraparound services, including job training, educational support, counseling, mentoring, and financial coaching. So for us, it just made a lot of sense to be able to partner with OEI and the Bank Albuquerque, program and initiative that they have on there. And so just for just quickly to run down the list of speakers, we have YDI CEO Robert Chavez, ACS Community Manager Jeffrey Bustamante. We have Bank Albuquerque Program Manager Vanessa Arballo, and ACS Director Jody Esquivel. So I guess we can go ahead and kick things off. So I'll first set it off with Mayor Keller.
Hi, folks. All right. So what I'm going to try and do, especially for our folks in the media, is actually take this up to a little bit of a higher level, because you're going to hear all sorts of acronyms. You just heard a bunch. You're going to hear words like counseling and services. But let's just take a step back for a second. We know that in our city, we have a disproportionately high number of folks who are suffering from addiction and mental illness. So the question is always to me, well, what are you doing about this issue, Mayor, right? And so what we have been doing is actually building institutions that can actually help individuals in this crisis. Mental and behavioral health, or addiction, mental illness. And what does that mean, building something? Well, one is this building. This building used to be the cosmetology center at Loveless Hospital. Now it is a one-stop shop for folks experiencing those issues, where they can then be sort of sorted out to more long-term professional places. So there's a lot of different services that we provide right here in this facility, which of course is run by our community safety department. So when we talk about the impact of the community safety department, I think what we understand is there's that field work that is on site through the 911 system. But there's also work being done to essentially try and prevent people or help them before they become homeless, or before they become even more addicted, or before they become violent. That's the violence intervention work. That's what this building, that's what this team is all about. And so for us, this is a deep intervention to prevent bigger problems in the future. This is extremely innovative, I will tell you. There are very few cities in the country that have gone this far to both create a team, hire the staff, and have a physical location to do this, and then fund the associated programs that now YDI is going to run and that have to do with our guaranteed basic income. So hopefully that explains a little bit here of what we're doing and the problem we're trying to address for the community, right? The highest level problem. The number one challenge in our city, above all other things, is addiction. There's no question. And so for us, this is a way to help with that and also to prevent it from becoming worse and leading into even more dangerous paths, including incarceration, violence, etc., homelessness. Now, this facility also this is the first time we've invited the public, so to speak, into this facility. For obvious confidential reasons and because of the delicate personal and health-related work that's done here, this facility you are allowed to come to this facility if you are in need, and you'll be triaged here in the front lobby. But this facility itself is also essentially new. I think we've opened it in different stages, but what, about a year ago? About a year ago, roughly, is when this started functioning fully. And so this is a massive step from, let's say even just 5 years ago to basically having a little bit of programming scattershot with some nonprofits to actually having the city taking a leading role in organizing a crisis response to those in crisis, and also having a physical place for that work, a home for people who have nowhere else to go, who are in this type of crisis. That's what this is. So in terms of what we're talking about specifically today, as you heard, we're expanding what we do here. And part of it is with a contract that we're doing with YDI. You'll hear about their own history. They're a wonderful organization. We're excited to partner with them on this. But what you have to do with folks who are in crisis is you have to relieve the pressure points of that crisis. So sometimes it is counseling services around addiction. Sometimes it's counseling around mental illness. Sometimes it's also direct services like food, rental support, even our guaranteed basic income program, which is essentially just financial support. And the idea is you catch people before they fall through and end up in a much, much worse path. That's also why everything in this particular building and the people who work here has a very, very high return on investment for folks who are interested in that side of the equation. We know that if we can help people at this stage, it means they're not going to be right out on the street costing us more. They're not going to be in our emergency room costing us more. They're not going to be in our jail costing us more. So this is the right intervention at the right time, both personally, what we need to do for those in crisis in our community, but also with respect to the financial burden that these individuals face if they're not able to get on a better path. So that's what this Crisis Triage Center is all about. And now let's hand it over to our director of ACS. This is the other side of ACS that isn't the field response. And Jody oversees all of it. Jody Escobar.
Thank you so much, Mayor, and thank you everybody for being here. My name is Jody Escobar. I'm the director of Albuquerque Community Safety. Really reiterating everything that Mayor said, our mission is very clear for ACS. It's been very clear from the very beginning, is connecting people to the right service at the right time. And today reflects the continued evolution of ACS as trying to find certain ways to fill gaps and make the community feel supported. We've always been community driven. We will continue to be community driven. And that also impacts our youth. I'm so proud of all of our teams here, not just here, but in our field response, as they continue with relentless empathy to support our community in the way that we need. This partnership with YDI, I'm not going to talk in acronyms for you guys because the experts are here to tell you exactly what this programming does and what that looks like. But healing overall is a critical component of community safety for the city of Albuquerque. And so what does that mean? It means that we're breaking the cycles of violence. What does even that mean, though? We're intervening, we are helping support We are keeping the doors open to the Trauma Recovery Center here, saying that no matter the issue, we'll triage you and figure out the next step for you here. The partnership that we've had with YDI is absolutely phenomenal, and I can't wait for you guys to hear more about that. We're equally excited about our guaranteed basic income. I know we're here to talk about that program, but I do want to talk about some of the services that we have at TRC, not in the talking points, I know. But we have financial literacy here in the Trauma Recovery Center from this team, this partnership with OEI, which means other classes that we're just getting the community in, helping, healing, moving in the right direction for overall healing. The program for the youth, they'll go in depth about what this looks like for our youth that I know that we're all focused on. This is about creating stability for our community. That stability transfers over to all of the city of Albuquerque for community safety as a whole. This job we can't do alone. The city can't do it alone, and that's why we seek out these amazing partnerships with our community-based organizations. And that's something that ACS prides themselves in, is working with community-based organizations to make sure that we have the right people in the right place, because they're experts in what they do, and it's important for us to find that partnership that is the best for the community. And so what this looks like is partnerships from your city government seeking out community-based organizations to make sure that we have that right support. I'm thankful for ACS as a whole, thankful for Mayor Keller and the administration for believing and continuing to believe in ACS. We're making a difference. Our numbers are phenomenal year to date. We are connecting people to services. Our door is open. We are here for the community. Can't wait for you guys to hear more, and excited to answer any questions that you guys might have. So thank you for the time.
Thank you, Director Esquivel. Next up, I know we kind of hyped him up at the beginning, but here we are with YDI CEO Robert Chavez. Robert.
Good afternoon, everybody. Well, first I want to thank the mayor, obviously Mayor, thank you, Jody, ACS team, thank you all. When you look at addressing violence in our communities, and I was listening to the mayor's opening statement, he gets it, right? There's a lot of contributing factors on what contributes to violence in our communities, from the behavioral health side, from the support system side, from all these factors. And being a partner here, I want to thank the city for entrusting YDI for doing the work and being a partner here, because violence doesn't impact just one person, and not just one entity is going to be able to address violence in the community. It's going to take all of us coming together, like today, tomorrow, and in the future, to address and support families who need the support that is necessary. And I also want to say that YDI has been partnering with families for 55 years in New Mexico, right? Trying to partner and helping them improve lives, and we're proud of this partnership, because we believe when you look at this partnership, you heard about the services that ACS is offering here. Well, bringing YDI, we were founded in this community 55 years ago, and bringing all the other support services and resources that we have in our organization, from early childhood to if they need a GED, from job training, workforce development, increased counseling, all those other services together with ACF and all the city's resources as a whole will make a difference, and it's not only an enforcement issue. We could talk about enforcement, but we need to be able to support families and children, right? And when you look at being able to identify that at a young age, and that's what makes this partnership with ABQ so different, right? Is the behavioral health, the cognitive behavioral therapy that's provided is going to allow us to provide an assessment to a young person on the thoughts, on the emotions, on all those things, that why did they act the way they did, or took the path they did. And by being able to treat those thoughts and being able to help guide them, then that's going to reduce the violence in that action. And every one child is enough by making this program work. And that's what makes us different. Another unique model that makes us different from other programs out there is the use of peer support workers, right? I can go speak to many of the clients, I have my educational credentials. However, someone with life experience who they can connect with on a one-on-one basis so they can build, who can mentor them, to can help them learn from the choices they made to get them in a better position, is really some of the best people to make the changes involved in that. And it's evidence-based. In substance abuse, they have peer support workers at substance abuse because there's a connection. Same here. And so with this program, that's what makes this one so unique, I think, is that partnership in the peer aspect of it. So in closing, I just want to, again, we can't do this work alone, and I want to thank the mayor and all the ACS team and City of Albuquerque for allowing us to be a partner. And we're looking forward to be talking about the results as we get this thing moving and running, because it will change lives. I could tell you, I work with a lot of families and have a lot of great staff that work with families. This is one that we know that's going to take some time, but it's going to make an input. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Robert. Next up, I'd like to welcome ACS Community Outreach Manager, Jeffrey Bustamante. Jeffrey.
Thank you, everybody. So as you heard a little bit earlier today, we are New Mexico's first trauma recovery center. And as you also heard, there's a lot of acronyms, there's a lot of terms, there's a lot of violence intervention, things like that. But what does it mean fundamentally? It means healing. And we are proud to be New Mexico's first source of healing in this way. And what is it to heal? Well, it's those pillars that we all live every day, right? It's financial stability, it's medical stability, it's behavioral stability, it's mentorship, it's having somebody care about you. And here at this location, people get all of that either from us directly or from one of our partners. And that's, I think, one of the key parts of this announcement is that we can't do this alone. ACS is incredibly proud to provide the right response at the right time, but that right response can mean a lot of things as people go down that path of healing. And YDI being a critical partner in that. I think one thing I really want to amplify that Robert mentioned is they are 55 years from the community. When you look at ACS, community is the very center of our name for a reason. And so we couldn't pick a better partner than YDI, who, we're almost 5 here this September. So to get 5 decades experience on top of that amplifies what we do in a way that we couldn't achieve on our own. I think one other thing I really just want to emphasize is also, what is cognitive behavioral therapy? It's a short-term, high-impact ability to help individuals start their healing journey or continue it, while we also make those longer-term handoffs. It's essentially therapy. It's quick therapy while we get into the longer continuum, because as I think everybody here knows, and everybody in our city knows, that healing can take time. And we're really proud to have that path start here for hundreds to thousands of individuals. I think I really want to end where I began, that we can't do this alone, but we are proud to provide the right response at the right time, whether that's out on the streets through our field response division, whether that's interacting with our neighbors throughout Albuquerque, or whether it's our partnerships and really building a continuum for people in Albuquerque for years to come. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Jeffrey. And as we mentioned, the Office of Equity Inclusion has been a big part of what we're doing, and through the Bank on Burke program, we couldn't do the guaranteed basic income. So thank them for all of their help. So to represent them, we're going to have Bank on Burke program manager Vanessa Arbayo. Vanessa.
Hi, everyone. So today we're building on existing guaranteed basic income pilot, our youth cohort, through a strong partnership that we have here in the Office of Equity Inclusion with Albuquerque Community Safety. So this relationship is a really strong example of what it means to be one Albuquerque. We work together across city departments to support young people when they need it the most. So the way this came about is earlier in the year, we actually had one of the youth who is currently in our youth cohort receiving the guaranteed basic income fell victim to become a victim of gun violence. So in that moment, it reinforced the importance here of ensuring young people have coordinated support beyond financial assistance. So once we learned of this incident, we called ACS and reached out to a peer support worker within the violence intervention team. And they ensured that the participant received the support he needed at the hospital. So through the collaboration, ACS worked closely with this participant and the referring caseworker to provide the critical services during that difficult time. Another reinforcement of this work and why it's important is the recent Legislative Finance Committee report that was released that highlighted New Mexico has 32,000 opportunity youth here in the state. So these are ages 16 to 24 who are not connected to either school or work. So through this collaboration, we had these conversations and highlighted this opportunity for our teams to build on the existing success of the youth GBI cohort. And we connected with youth that were already engaged with the student-based violence intervention program to add this additional layer of support. So we have worked with them to connect 20 youth that are engaged, and we sat with them and the teams came together. We worked with our bank partners through Bank Albuquerque to help them set up bank accounts. So these accounts are where they're going to receive the payment, the $750 a month every month. And for a lot of these youth, this bank account is something that's a first for them. This account we made sure is an account that they have in their own name, so nobody else has access to these funds, for us to also ensure that they're getting these payments. And for many of them, it's going to be a first relationship with a financial institution, and it's going to be an important milestone for them toward financial independence and future opportunity for them to come. So I just really want to end on a note that this collaboration demonstrates the coordinated city services, trusted partnerships, and a shared commitment to youth can create a meaningful opportunity and strengthen support pathways for Albuquerque's young people. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Vanessa. We'll take a moment to see if there are any questions. I know some of you are also waiting to be able to catch up with Mayor in the back over some of the fentanyl news that has come out. Go ahead.
One question. Just curious if you guys have an overall goal in mind, if it's to lower crime rates, get people off the streets, etc.
All the above. Jeffrey, you want to hit on that? Or
All that, you answered it. I think I mentioned that, like, all of the services, the city, our community partners, we all have multiple goals in mind, but overall, the community safety of Albuquerque, once we start lifting people up, it's a cascading effect for all of our families, starting with our youth all the way up to our grandparents, and finding support in that way. So all of that.
One more follow-up question. I'm just curious if you guys are providing transportation services to get to your services that you're offering here.
I could tell you for YDI, we do offer transportation services for mileage, compensation for employees or transfer clients, right? So within our contract, we do have some allowances to help with them. But we also know that we have to teach them the transportation system. We have to teach them because our services are limited. So not only will we provide transportation initially, but the goal is teach them, train them, help them, and then they'll move on. So for us, there will be some transportation.
For the CBT's contract, do you have an idea of how many youth you'll be able to serve through this, or you're going to be serving? And also, how do these youth get referred to these services?
Absolutely. So there's two kind of metrics for this. We have our school-based violence intervention program, which is one of the major referrers into this to help our students that we're supporting, as well as through our youth violence intervention program, get connected to these sorts of services. We have hundreds of clients across both of those programs when they're combined, and that is one metric. The other is the amount of hours that we're providing, because we want to make sure that we're providing the length and breadth of that kind of healing journey. So it's, I think, at least 12,000 hours of cognitive behavioral therapy over the year, which is significant when you break that down to 1 hour appointments, and going on from there. So.
The services that you guys are providing, is this the headquarters, or this is the prime location? Or do you guys have separate locations?
For the services that we're talking about today, the Trauma Recovery Center, this is the prime location. We also have our headquarters that is around the corner on San Mateo, which is also another space for the community. But for the service we're talking about today, this is the headquarters for that.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
Something that you guys mentioned was violence prevention, etc. How do you intend, or I guess, are you guys working with APD to sort out violent incidences that might be occurring on the streets?
We have, that's a great question. We have a great working relationship with APD, though we operate incredibly separate from APD, but we do have some cross collaboration when it's needed.
Any other questions? Okay, awesome. Thank you all very much. I'll go get Mayor, and I'll walk those of you that are going to go meet with him here shortly to the back. Thank you all so much. Appreciate it.